Morning, Bill.
Good morning, Bill. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good today. How about you?
Doing okay. Got up, I went and did my walk. It's warmer this morning than it has been. Ugh, gross. Back and decided that I want to make sure I get my icing in. So I just got this little thing to strap to my wrist for the first session of the day. So knocking this thing out while we're doing this, accountability and a trap. So here we are.
Nice. Well played, man.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
definitely
Thank you.
humid. Definitely humid out there. I took the dog out this morning and was like, "Whoo."
Whew, man, it's rough. Yeah.
Yeah. So not looking forward to my walk after this, but it's all good.
um, I have a weird blister on the tip of my finger that I have no idea how it got there.
Hmm.
It's like I'm walking around this morning and I'm kind of just like waking up and everything, and my finger feels funny and I have a blister on it. And like it's not pertinent to anything else other than the fact that it's random to get a blister when I've done nothing strenuous.
Dude, you were working that keyboard hard yesterday. Don't show some stuff.
Dude, furiously writing. Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's like in Brooklyn Nine-Nine when they're like speed reading, and she's like, oh, I don't have my finger glove. I'm gonna get blisters, and because she's doing the thing with the finger.
Oh man, the smallest things are the greatest.
Oh man,
Yeah,
how was your day yesterday? Oh, you were at school all day.
I was. I
Was it
was.
was it easier yesterday than it was last week?
Mm, easier.
No.
Different. It felt different this week because I had a different
Okay.
level of focus. I knew I wanted to be there. So, um, it was kind of like most things. I did really well the first half, and then the second half I started itching. So I
Mhm.
was like, ugh, my phone's right there. It's
I get
just,
that.
So it
Yeah,
was good though. It
exactly.
was good though. I really did well into the last 2 hours, and then I checked my phone 4 or 5 times in the last 2 hours. I was just getting that. But
Hey man, so next week shoot for three times,
two. Two was the
right?
idea. Actually, that was my thought. Was
Yeah,
only twice the whole time.
a little bit better next time, right?
That's right.
It's so hard to be like perfect in the first rep, right? We're about to have role play sessions in about an hour or so, and one of the biggest things about role playing, right, is that you need to do it twice. Have to do it twice because the first time is going to be terrible. So just admit that's going to be terrible,
Yep.
and accept that you're going to do it twice, and just get through the first one. Get all the laughies out, all the anxiousness and everything else, because like you're only going to get better when you do it again. So just commit to doing it twice.
Right. Yeah, for
It's
sure. And
crazy.
I shot video yesterday for an email sales funnel, and I'm pretty good at first take type stuff on video because I typically in my mind know what I want to cover. And even when I'm like public speaking, I speak off of bullet points. I don't have like scripts. I just do better
Sure.
knowing
Yeah.
where I'm going. And even yesterday, I just had to shoot everything 2 or 3 times, and I was okay. It was fine. It didn't bother me at all because it sounded. In fact, the fact that I did it the second time and I felt even more confident and felt better about the second take, I was like, wow, I'm glad we did that second take because that second one felt really good. Let's do a third
Yeah.
one. You know, maybe it'll be even better.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's okay. So I do have to say that I'm gonna have to pay this week because I did not hit it last night.
Really?
I didn't. And I think I know why. And I felt this
Okay.
starting. I think I understand this, and it's a concept we've talked about before. Is when you try and change too many things at one time,
Oh yeah.
it's
They all
not going to
fall.
work. That's not going to work. Well, I'm keeping the other two. It's going pretty good. Like the workout activity is still new. I mean, obviously I love it and it feels good, but am still having days where I'm like, I don't really want to do this today, but I'll do it. But then moving the food and the nutrition and my wake up time, I kind of started drifting towards that 7:30, 7:40. So I pushed myself right back down to 5:45, 6 o'clock. So I got all
Hmm.
that stuff going on this week.
That's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot of change, man.
So I'm about 50 to 60% you know, on my vegetables pre-prepared at night stuff. But it fell down. It was too much for me to try and do. So I'm just gonna pay it and learn my lesson and take it like a man. Because hopefully
Okay.
next time when I try and do 2 or 3 things at once, I'll go. That it's gonna cost $500, bro.
um, Yeah, I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, I was just stacking my day with like all these things I was going to do. I was going to meditate. I was going to journal, daily reflections at the end of the day. I was trying to learn German. I was trying to do my kung fu forms every day, and I overdid it, right? And all of that new productivity and new habits and everything was kind of like one thing. So it wasn't like I was just going to skip like German for a day. It was so tied to all the other stuff that whenever like one thing started to slip, they all just like avalanched down the side of the mountain, and all the habits fell off.
That,
And
yeah.
you think it's bad to give up on one like new habit, right? Give up on seven within like a 3 day period and see how you feel about yourself, right? It's
Mm,
heavy.
it is.
It's not awesome.
You're right. You're right. I've done that before too. Luckily, this time the others were kind of, kind of stacked in a week at a time.
Staggered on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
staggered. There you go. So Gabriel's with us this morning, man. What's up, Gabriel? Good to see you again.
What's up, Gabriel? It's been a while, man. I hope you're
Yeah,
doing well.
yeah. But otherwise, my
Um,
day was good. I got good stuff done afterwards. I went and did that video shoot afterwards, and then I had a couple of just blocking and tackling things, and I was done by 5. So it was good.
awesome.
Yeah. What about you?
Um, so we had I got to hang out with my coach yesterday and work on some stuff, which was awesome. Um, really, really awesome. It's because I didn't go last week because it was Alice's birthday, and I didn't go the week before because I was just swamped and stuff like that. And it's always nice when you've been out for a couple of weeks and you go back and like, oh yeah, there's still like a lot of good value here, right? Because everybody needs people who they can trust in their world to go talk to and ask questions about and stuff like that. And my coach is really, really solid at that stuff. Um, I got a lot of work done. I created a pain matrix for this new client. Um, Based upon his market and the different kind of like areas of it. And then let's see. Oh, I had a prospecting call yesterday, and I got a fairly quick no. And I talked about this in the Discord channel,
I
but
saw that.
yeah, this guy, we hop on the call. I set my frame. How long are we here? He said about 20, 30 minutes. I said, okay, I think we can cover everything. If we don't, can we just have a follow-up call? He was like, sure. I was like, okay, what are we trying to do today? And he was like, well, let's just figure out if we can get along, and then what we'll do is we'll bring you back, and that way you can talk with one of the directors. And I was like, okay, cool. Already figuring out that there's more people in the decision making process than just this person I'm talking to. Check that box. Cool. This person can't tell me yes, so let's figure out what's going on. And so over the next 20 minutes, it was a fairly quick call. He was like, there were some red flags, right? They were repositioning their business because before they'd been like a white label provider, and they wanted to go directly to client, and they only wanted to like work with whales. I said, okay, what's your definition of a whale? Oh, don't worry about that. We're going to qualify for that. The closer just has to get on there and close them. And I'm like, oh, that's a huge red flag mentally, right? I didn't say it out loud. And I said, okay, how do you know that these leads are qualified, right? And so we're kind of talking through it. And then I said, when do you want to have a closer on the phones? And he goes, Monday or Tuesday. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's Wednesday. You want a Monday or Tuesday? And he was like, yeah. He goes, honestly, I thought you were the closer. And I was like, oh, no, I'm not. If I'm going to close for somebody, the offer's got to be pretty high. The lead gen has got to be really consistent, and it needs to fit within my day. And most people don't have that, and that's totally fine. So I was like, man, I've got some concerns. Can we talk about it? And he was like, sure. I said, I feel like your timeline is awfully rushed. I feel like even if you find a good salesperson, you're going to be torching the first handful of calls because you don't have a process, and it seems like you guys are trying to move really, really quickly. And he was like, yeah. And I said, it might make more sense for you to try this. If you get stuck, right, I can work with a guy or person, whoever you find. And then later on, if you decide that it's not working, or if you want to go through the whole process, we can do it then. Because there's no way that guy is going to swing from the idea that he needs to start Monday or Tuesday because these leads are hot. These leads are hot, right? They got to get worked.
AKA,
And
we buy the
they're
list.
exactly, and they're good closers, but they don't want to do all these red flags I kept hearing on the call, right? And so then I addressed it. And we talked about it, and it was a fairly quick call. We were done in about 15 minutes, and he knows exactly who I am and what I do, and he doesn't really think he needs it, so totally
Good.
fine.
Quick no's are great. Love it.
Absolutely. So did that, and then did some writing. It's funny. I'm trying to write about like no as like the ultimate productivity tool, right? And like kind of like this, like it's helpful in pretty much all aspects of your life. But a lot of people, as we get older, have struggles utilizing no in different ways. And I didn't really do any kind of like outline or formatting because this is kind of like a new thing for me to write about. And man, I am struggling on the on the writing, man. It's just like all over the place and not very concise. And so yeah, so outlines help. Weird. Um, yeah, clear lines, clear expectations always help.
Man, I don't
Um,
even write social media posts without an outline anymore, just because I'm so bought into how good copywriting works. And
mhm.
like, even if it's just 3 points, I know I got to cover. I got to cover the impact and the transformation and the call to action or whatever. Like, I'll even just plop those in first, just so I can have somewhere to start. You know.
You know what's really funny is as as a big a fan of as I am of planning, I don't plan my value posts or whatever. I just kind of get in there and start writing, and I know that that's not optimal, right? Because I know that there's some continuity and things like this that I'm missing out on, and obviously nobody is as good at like in the moment as they are if they prepare. I get all these things, but yeah, I don't I don't know how I feel about that
Say
actually.
but it's really good. It's
You
really good. It's really good. But I don't do it.
I don't really have any other reason other than just potentially a false sense of self confidence that I don't need to plan these kinds of posts, right? Because I'm just talking from my zone of genius, if you want
I'm
to
gonna test it.
frame it that way.
That's the way I do it. Test it. See if we get some
Absolutely.
traction. Yeah.
hmm Absolutely. I should be doing that. What do you got today, Bill?
It's Thursday. It's
It's a
Thursday.
Thursday, man.
And man,
Dude.
if Thursdays weren't big before, now with these Wednesdays of potentially
Oh,
being off, bro,
yeah.
like I feel like I'm gonna have to do some major like Atlas style stuff certain weeks where I'm just like, all right, here comes Thursday, and I am totally not gonna drop this thing, you know. So it's good though because
Well,
it's forcing me to be even more focused about planning my Thursdays on like Wednesday mornings because I'm going, okay, I got to have this done by Friday, and this is the amount of hours I have on Wednesday, so that leaves me Thursday, Friday. Okay, so it's actually helping me to be more focused on my overall week planning, really.
how long until you're going to have two bill bets each week, right? Like the stuff that you need to get done by Tuesday because you're going to be out by Wednesday, and the stuff you're going to get done on Thursday and Friday.
I mean, should probably just go ahead and start this next week. I mean, right? It's because that's how
I
I'm
mean,
parsing it in my head.
yeah. I mean, if you're going to be out, right? I mean, we're out every Saturday and every Sunday, so it's kind of like a reset. So why not take the same methodology and turn it into I'm going to be out pretty much every Wednesday because of school and everything else like this.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's like a break in my week. So what do I need to get done before this? What do I need to get done after this before the next break, which is Saturday?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the way I've kind of thought about it is actually I'm going to take Wednesdays and Sundays off, and I'll work, some Saturdays, just when it's necessary. Because I still have 2 days off. It's just a different 2 days, and it's like one in the middle of the week and one at the end of the week. I actually did that in a former position for some reason. I can't remember why, but I liked it because I got 2 days off. Like I got a day off every 2 to 3 days. So it was like, oh,
Yeah.
cool, day off again. So I was thinking about trying that methodology again and see where it takes me. And then, I mean, the bill bet doesn't change. It's still every seven
Yeah.
days. Got to get this thing done.
Absolutely. But like, the thing about it is though, and we talk about this a lot, is like we procrastinate or we think that we're going to have more time later to do these things, right? So
Mm-hmm.
while it's still, the same amount of working days, since you have that break there in the middle of it, I mean, we're going to push stuff. Oh, you know what? I'll handle that after the break. I'll handle that after the break. And then
Right.
crap blows up and client work and
Right.
fires and
Right.
kids and everything else like this.
So they're more like 3 day sprints now, as opposed to 6 day
hmm
sprints or 5.5 day sprints. So
Yeah.
for me in my head, it actually makes it easier to plan. I don't know if that's just like a me personality thing. Like it's easier for me to plan 3 days of big three and then another 3 days of big three. And
Yeah.
maybe my
I
big
would
threes
agree with
aren't as
that.
big. It's too big and a small, or a big and two smalls, or um, so it's actually kind of been like, oh, this is kind of nice because I can break things up even further now. and have more check-ins, which to people who hate, you know, that type of stuff being on a schedule and being in planning probably sounds even worse. But to me, I love
Oh yeah.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
I know a guy who like Gantt charts his like whole week, right? Which I think is really interesting. I don't know that I could keep up with it as like an ongoing practice, but what he does is he's like, okay, this week I got to do, and he'll just like task list it all out, and he'll go out and he'll put time around it because it's fairly repetitive tasks, and then he'll just put them like on his week, on his kind of flow chart,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got a rule that if he's going to work on a project that's more than 2 hours, he can't work on two of those in the same day because he just doesn't have the energy and the focus for it, right? So what he'll do is he'll say, okay, cool, like this week I have 3 2-hour projects, and he'll make sure that he'll space those out on separate days first. So that way, he's doing his deep work and everything else like this, but like he's really aware of his energy levels and how much focus he has and stuff like that. And man, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I was kind of blown away.
There's if there's certain jobs that you can do that with a lot easier, then that's pretty cool. Although I think like it's some people that would drive crazy. I think you're right.
Oh,
yeah. I love the simplicity of it. It's amazing because then you even Gantt chart the Gantt charting of next week. It's there for you.
Absolutely.
But when you have, especially when you run your own thing, there's a lot of flex that's got to be throughout the week. Kind of be able to have some flex for different things. But you could Gantt chart that, I guess. I mean.
Yeah, I was about to say, why couldn't you just Gantt and plan for blocking and tackling periods, right? 30 minutes at the beginning of the day, 30 minutes at the end of the day, all that stuff. It's crazy because you said that there's gonna be a lot of people who don't like this, right? Because they don't want to be planned. And I used to be one of those people. Like whenever I first started to learn about all this stuff and calendaring and going to bed early and being an early riser and all of this stuff, I was like, man, this is nonsense. Like what a terrible way to like live my life. And then eventually you just start to do it, and then you do a little bit more, and then you learn about how to do it for yourself and everything else like this. And the thing that I'm going to tell you, or not you because you know this, but anybody who's watching, is that like this feels like a lot. It feels like a lot of pressure. It feels like a lot to do. And, it is, but like, think about all the time and the energy you're spending trying to be like, okay, what do I need to do now? Like, because it happens however many times in a day that you look up from something because a task is completed and then it's on to the next task. Okay, what am I going to do now? Yeah. And then if you don't have that next thing fed in the hopper, it's, email, or let's go check Slack, or let's go check social media or something else like this, because it'll come to me in a minute. Let me just jog my memory by opening my phone and doing the muscle memory of getting into Facebook,
Yeah. Well, and I think the beauty of the system really ideally is the fact that you get to prioritize what's important to you. Because like people like Michelle, who's out pulling weeds certain days,
yeah,
she may not need her whole day stacked into a calendar, right? But it would be helpful to have 2 big things on there to make sure she gets done. That way, if she does get distracted,
absolutely,
I'm going to get these 2 things done today because this is important to grow in the farm or whatever. So if you're new to something like this, just don't think of it as okay, now I have to plan all 8 hours of my day on a calendar. It's like, no, now you have a calendar that's wide open that you can make sure and get the 2 or 3 things on there first that are absolutely going to help you, and then fill the rest in. So it's not as intimidating. Start with 1 or 2 things, make sure it gets done.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big ask to go from like doing nothing to trying to like calendarize and block out, everything of the day. And, you're going to burn out because it's just way too much. It's like trying to go from like all the non-keto to the strictest keto imaginable. Like you're going to struggle, right? You need accountability, you need help, you need support and everything else like this. But like, so Jocko talks about this whole thing about like discipline equals freedom. There's like jujitsu gis with this like verbiage on it and stuff like this. And I used to kind of get it, like I was like, yeah, okay. Like I'll go along with this, thinking it was just like some kind of like rah party about like being disciplined and doing hard stuff. But, the thing that I realized is that when I don't have to, okay, so I was writing yesterday, right? And I'm using this Focus at Will like music app, and I set a timer on there. And Melissa said, why are you setting the timer? You don't have anything else to do. And it's like, well, like I want to know that something is going to alert me to come up out of this thing, right? So that allows me to go deeper into the writing and not worry about anything else because I know there's a timer at the end of this thing that's going to alert me when it's time to be done with this thing.
Yep.
You
It's like an
know,
alarm
and
clock for the airport. Like why?
yeah,
Yeah, your flight's not till 11. Like, well, I know, but I want to make sure I can sleep well because I got this alarm clock.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, right. And so it's that kind of thing, right? It's this balance thing that I've been thinking a lot about. There's a balance to like selling and business and all of it, and pretty much everything, right? And the balance point is what you're trying to optimize for. So,
Right.
um, you know, I am trying to optimize and balance for doing like my best in like every situation. So when I'm at work, I really want to be working, right? When I'm not working, I really want to be not working and like hanging out with the family or friends or something like this. And that only happens whenever I'm disciplined enough to make sure that I'm doing all the tasks necessary
Yep. Yep.
and
So,
trusting the systems that I have in place.
so Michelle says she does plan everything out, but she only puts one big task a day on her planner. Same
Yeah.
idea. Only
Same
anything
idea.
over 2 hours. I'm only doing one of those a day. Kind of like what you were saying.
Yeah.
And I have dropped the ball before in the last 30 days doing that, putting more than one like major big thing on my plate, and it gets pushed 2 or 3 days sometimes. So um, it's a good
Yeah.
concept to live by. So
Well,
get today. That's what it looks like though. I've got a bunch of
yeah.
stuff
Oh
stacked on
man.
my it's top to bottom today on my calendar.
Yeah. We have Sales Lab role play from 9 to 10:15. So if you want to come check that out, please do. It's free for the first 2 weeks. Just come practice your conversational like methods and your abilities, right? And if you're in sales, you should be practicing. I've got a call. I had a call with someone. I don't even know how this ended up on my calendar. We'll have to see what that's about. Regular coach, or yeah, because it's coming from my John Small Mountain calendar and not the adaptive growth calendar, which is where I put most things. And so I'm kind of like, how did this even get here? But it wouldn't be there otherwise because I think I sent her the invite. So I've got check in with Jeremy, talk about some of the real estate stuff. I think I've got a coffee in an interview with my attorney friend who talks about business formations and stuff as additional value for the closer thing. Client call today to talk about commission structure, coaching, and then another digital coffee with somebody else. So, and then meet the teacher tonight. So we get to go pick up, the Chromebook that the school is giving all the kids because we're just going to stay distance for as long as we can.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a long day for sure. I got a lot. I might not have any voice tomorrow.
All right.
So.
Yep. Cool. Well, you got anything else today?
Man, I don't, right? Like just kind of working the program and, I've got a lot to do today, right? And normally I block out my like 8 to 11, but like sales lab office hour, or I'm sorry, role play calls are in that period on Thursday. So like, I don't even have like a nice big chunk of like deep work to go lose myself in. It's going to be all people facing pretty much all day, which I'm fine with, but also kind of saps my batteries in a unique way.
Yeah, definitely. Even me, who's an I, it saps me at the end of the day. Like I enjoy every minute of it, but the energy levels get low.
For sure, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. All right, buddy. I'll see you in the morning.
I'll see you in the morning. Have a good Thursday.
Thank you, man. You as well.
See y'all later.
See you.